Welcome back, everybody. It's Thursday, and that means that it is time for the Inner Geekdom podcast. As you can see, we have a bit of a new theme because we are diving in to October, which means we're going to be doing a lot of fun, spooky content, like this week, where we're going to be talking about some of our favorite horror movies, and then at the end of the show, doing a tier list. And as always, that would be pretty boring if it was only me, so I brought some people to make the podcast fun. To the right of me, I have none other than Miss Drusy. Drusy, where can people find you at? And what type of content you've been putting out lately?
Okay, well, basically you can find me mainly on Twitch, under Dead Dread Drusy. I'm also usually multi-stream to TikTok as well. Right now, well, I'm gonna start doing ARC with you guys soon.
This is true.
I was on a short vacation, so I hadn't been doing much during those days, but I was planning to do some horror games for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm definitely looking forward to the art content that we're about to make, because we are no longer playing Red Dead, apparently. Sorry about that, guys, but you
Allegedly.
know, allegedly things happen. All right. Well, Morbid, where can people find you at? What type of content are you putting out? In fact, have you put out any recent content if you'd like to give a shout out?
Yeah, I put out a video today. It's the Chronicles of Malachi Buckman. The crimes of.
The
You can find me at
crimes.
Mora Morbid. I just typed in the chat on Twitch. You can find me on all platforms.
Very nice. Yeah, you also be playing art and other random things with us. Yeah. All right, we also have none other than Mr. Pingu, who's also a pirate now. Where can people find you at?
Now.
Yeah. What type of content you making, buddy? Where can people find you?
Yeah, so this is Monster Pangaboo without the E. You can catch me on twitch.tv. Currently we're just streaming some Phasmophobia we're gonna go do here a little bit, and I'm gonna try to finish Alien Isolation.
Hell yeah. So we're definitely stepping into October, guys, which is one of my favorite times of year, because we start to get into all of the fun, all the fun horror movies. And I figured, why don't we start the month off kind of just talking about some of our favorites? And I don't want anyone to think that this is one of those things where you're going to get like super judged on by your choices. In fact, this doesn't even have to be necessarily just your number one. No, what we're kind of doing here today is we're just going to go over some of our favorites that come to mind when we're thinking of our favorite horror movies, because I don't like that whole making somebody's like, this is your favorite because you're going to be stuck with that choice for the rest of your career, that kind of a thing. We're just talking about some of the things that we enjoy. In fact, why don't we go ahead and do a transition? Boom, look at that. Oh yeah.
Guys, why are we
All right.
moving?
Transition if I've ever done
Yeah. So let me resize this little boy real quick, because what we're gonna be doing is just kind of going over some of our favorites, and I figured I would start out, and I'm gonna start out with Cabin in the Woods is actually one of my favorite horror movies. And I understand that a lot of people will probably be like, well, that's more of a comedic movie, but that's kind of why I enjoy it, because it's basically a reflection of all like horror tropes. It's looking at the horror genre right in the face and basically doing a whole retrospective of it and playing with it while still being a fantastic horror movie with really interesting lore. So have you guys seen Cabin in the Woods, and what are your guys' thoughts on this one?
I have seen it, and it was one that I really enjoyed, especially making fun of some of the like little horror tropes.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's cheeky, it's a very fun, just kind of not too serious kind of a horror movie. But have Pingu and Morbid, have you guys seen this one?
Nope.
No, you have not seen this one. Okay.
I'm the only I'm the only one that's seen it. besides you.
All right.
I
Well,
believe
there's-
I have seen it. It is goofy, but the ending kind of it wraps it all up in the ending.
it does.
You know what? Horror can be funny. That's fine.
Oh yeah,
You know?
that's
Well-
the best kind in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause-
Oh no,
and
it is.
doesn't-
Well, I
Yeah.
even think of a lot of like the later like Jason movies, like Jason X. That's more comedy than anything. So there's a lot of cheekiness, and I believe that Drewsy's discussion topic for this is also a little bit cheeky as well. But yeah, so for those that haven't seen this movie, it starts out seeming like any other horror movie of just a group of teenagers that are played by grown adults, probably in their 30s, going out to a cabin, and then they're starting to get attacked by things. But things get more complicated than just being attacked by some crazy like undead creatures. There's something like a deeper layer to the understanding of, like, while we're saying it's a good reference to all horror movies, because it really kind of like shifts in a way that is very much an outward look on the horror genre. So it's one that I highly recommend. But I don't want to dwell on mine for too long, but I do highly recommend this one if you are a fan of the genre. But since we are on the more cheeky side of a horror, Drewsy, why don't you go ahead and bring up, I believe you're bringing up a whole series, essentially.
One of my favorite horror series, but it's also one I grew up with, is Evil Dead.
Oh, yes. I am a big fan of the Evil Dead.
Based.
So,
I mean,
so for anyone that has not seen one of the Evil Dead movies, can you kind of give like a kind of basic synopsis of why you're such a big fan of it? Like, why is this one that is your like one of your favorite series?
I personally do lean more towards a lot of B horror movies anyway.
Oh yeah,
But some of the, because the first movie is kind of a little bit more serious, but
it was meant to be. Yeah. It was kind of like almost accidentally like turned into a goofier kind of franchise.
Yeah, the original ones definitely went to the B route, and they they had a little bit of a funny moments. It wasn't.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't meant to be funny, but it ended up being just a little.
Well, the
goofy.
first one, the second one kind of like delved into
Second
the
one.
goofiness, but that first one, yeah.
Oh,
And
They
yeah.
wrote into it, yeah.
and
They
what's
wrote
really
into
funny,
it.
do you guys know who directed the first movie?
Oh God, was it Ash? I can't remember his actual
No,
name.
Sam Raimi, actually.
that's what I was about to say. Sam
Sam
Raimi.
Raimi.
So the guy that did the first 3 Spider-Man films, did the most recent Doctor Strange movie. Yeah, this was kind of his like first big breakout thing that he did.
Yeah, because the one thing about the Evil Dead movies that was always interesting was he used some unique camera work.
Oh yeah, it
least
was
at the
very
time.
indie, very indie. Well, he's always done like even in the most recent Doctor Strange, you got a lot of the Raimi like close cuts with the fisheye shots and stuff like that. Like he
Mhm.
does like to play very cheeky with his filmmaking. So yeah, I enjoy this one as well. And Bruce is a fantastic head to the series. Even going into Army of Darkness, one of my
Yeah.
favorites in this series that isn't talked about nearly enough.
Underrated. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because I definitely think that even the TV show. Did you guys see the TV show?
Oh, no, I watched the whole thing.
Same. It
Yes,
was
I
very
watched the
fun.
TV show, yeah.
So Morbid, are you familiar with this series at all?
Not at all. Not at all.
No,
I watch
oh.
very odd horror movies.
I kind of want to get you to watch some of these and review it this month because it's very fun.
I'm actually going to try
Yeah.
and watch Cabin in the Woods tonight because I know it's on one of my
Nice.
streaming platforms.
If you guys want, I am very much down to review Cabin in the Woods whenever, like later this week, if we wanted to do that one, because it's a good one. But the Evil Dead series is a very funny one that I think would be a good group watch night because it's very goofy, like.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, yeah, like dude
Well-
cutting his hand off and replacing it with a chainsaw level of like horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
And
was-
I don't
yeah.
know, Bruce Campbell just does perfect, like playing the macho.
Oh yeah, and even going into the TV show, he just has that like
Oh,
vibrato
yeah.
about him. Like it's like you shouldn't be as confident as you are, good sir. Nah, it's a fantastic series. So
Yeah.
why don't we pass it up to Mr. Pingu? Did you bring anything for the class today?
Yeah, this is gonna sound a little funny here because we just gave, the original series of Evil Dead such high accolades, and
Right.
obviously it's a classic. Those movies were, a little bit cheeky, but my favorite movie of all time is the remake of the Evil Dead.
Okay, the one where
Yeah.
they had like a new female Ash.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was done so well. The horror on it is no CGI, all practical effects, and it's some of the spookiest. It made me, and I'm a horror buff. I've been desensitized since I was a teenager. Even now, I was like, oh my god, I was. Some of those scenes are very gnarly and very gruesome, I want to say.
The new
So
one wasn't
it's
bad
still-
either. If you guys haven't
Oh,
seen
no,
it, Evil
actually,
Dead
the new
Rising.
one.
Yeah, I just watched
Yeah,
that one
see,
like
That
2
wasn't
days
bad
ago.
either.
Yeah. So
Both of those directors, because they worked a little bit together, I believe.
yeah. I still want to
the
see the
original
one with
and-
the female Ash and the like original Ash. There was like always talks about them doing a movie with that. I wanted to see the team up,
Oh yeah, it's such a great film, and I would recommend it to anybody who, is a true horror fan and they really do want to be spooked out.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I wonder if they did originally want to do that, but when you think about it, Bruce Campbell is getting up there now.
He is, but that's but they
Yeah.
play with it is the fun thing. Like when you watch the TV show, the fact that he's so old but still has that womanizer mentality that just is
Yeah.
not seen the same way. Like even back then, they played with the fact that as much as of a ladies' man as he played himself up to be, it was always not warranted whatsoever. So having him this much older and still doing this shtick makes it even funnier, in my opinion. It's not like he has to do
Yeah.
any stunts,
I feel
No,
like
yeah.
he took a lot. I think it was it called Burn Notice,
Yes.
that the TV show he was in. I think it took a lot from that character and bringing that silliness of that character.
They
It was
did,
like,
yeah.
I need a mojito, and I
Right.
think he really, I think he combined both characters in such a good way, because Ash did grow up, right, and he
Yeah.
became a bit of a womanizer, sure,
He's
So
got
it kinda
used
makes sense
car
that he would bring in-
salesman energy. Is
Yeah.
kind of the thing. Like
exactly.
yeah, like if he's wearing a suit, that it's like a rip off of a designer suit that he's that he's gonna but he's gonna tell every single person that it's like the real thing. Like that's the type of vibe that this guy gives off. Like it's
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
such a easily peeled off facade of confidence.
Oh, this is
True.
off topic, but have you ever seen a movie called My Name is Bruce? That's literally Bruce Campbell playing himself.
I have, yes. He's a very over exaggerated version and he ends up in an actual horror situation.
I
Yeah,
don't
it's a
think I've seen
very
that. I
fun
need to
one.
Check that out.
Very B movie. Very, very B movie. All right. Well, Morbid, what did you bring to the table today?
My favorite.
Oh,
Everybody knows.
I.
It's Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It's so much
Oh.
fun. It's so good. It was between that and something else, but I just had to go with Killer Clowns.
I am.
That's a good
Oh.
choice.
Oh
just-
no, that's good.
Yeah.
It's so goofy. It's scary, but to an extent that's just impressive. It's all practical effects. It's so cheap. It's so poorly written to the point where it's actually good. It's just the perfect high effort garbage that I want. Like
That's
you can
fair.
tell that this is love and dedication, but zero substance whatsoever, and it just makes it's fun. It's not like meant to traumatize you. It's not really gory. It's not really like jump scary. It's just like fun.
It's one of those like B-level horror movies that ended up getting a lot of recognition, and I do enjoy that genre of horror sometimes. Like I've watched a lot of the goofier things like the Evil Bong or the Ginger Dead Man or like Zombievers, you know, like I love
Birdemic.
Yeah, exactly. I love that genre of horror. I used to, when I was still in the Navy, I used to get together with my sonar buddies and we would watch like the really bad movies like this. We called it Mystery Sonar Theater. And we just loved watching it and ripping into things like this because it's so fun. Like nobody's getting scared by it. You might get a jump scare that gets you if you're just caught off guard, but that's the most you're gonna get from something like this. It is pure cheese, and it's very fun, and it actually weirdly got a video game like earlier this year.
We all played it and then we never picked it up again. I want to continue playing it. It's just Dead by Daylight but better.
Yeah, we should definitely do at least a few rounds of that game. It was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun, especially with the whole gang.
How many players is in it? Because Mrs. Rune was telling me I should get it, but I was like, did it on sale, that would be even better.
We could do custom lobbies at that point, and I think it's just $30 to begin with.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely enjoy that. We've still got a good bit of time that we can discuss some more stuff. So if you guys have got some more that you guys want to bring up, that would be awesome. I kind of want to do an off the wall one that I really enjoy. And this one I still consider kind of fits into horror, even though it's not scary. The theming, and that is Repo the Genetic Opera.
God's name?
Have you not heard of Repo the Genetic Opera?
Heard of everything but that.
You've heard of everything but that. Okay, well, so Repo the Genetic Opera is a like rock opera horror movie about a dystopian future where people are basically having to go and get surgeries to get like synthetic body parts for themselves because of all the horrible things that are going on, but they go into debt, and there's a guy called the Repo Man that comes back and gets those body parts from you, and it is a very fun, it's not really scary, but it is definitely still like horror, creepy, like vibes in it. And it's funny because like Paris Hilton is actually in it in a very fun, like over the top type of role. There's like, it's fun. It's got the girl from Spy Kids in it, you know. She actually can sing pretty good, and Joan Jett makes a cameo. So it's very fun. So you guys, Pingu, have you heard of this one? I can't hear you, buddy.
Yeah, no, I actually haven't.
Okay.
This movie is really fallen on my radar. I would like to see it though.
It was like super big if you were like a goth kid in 2008. So me and Drusy.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was making my transition into scene kid around that time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
My sister is a little short goth girl, so that's one of her favorite movies.
It is a very fun one.
It is.
And it's like didn't the drummer for 9 Inch Nails or something like that help with the music on this one? I think it was like somebody like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and the people that made this one did make 2 other movies together, The Devil's Carnival and Alleluia, The Devil's Carnival. Those ones are a little bit more B than even this one, but they're still fun if you enjoy like a creepy, weird musical.
I've seen Devil's Carnival, but I've never actually heard of the other one you mentioned.
Alleluia, The Devil's Carnival. Yeah, it's a direct sequel. We should definitely do a watch through of all of these, because that would be a very fun one to do. I don't know, Morbid, can you do a musical? You're not
I love musicals. It's it doesn't seem up my alley. I think all of you guys have been giving really good recommendations, but this one is just not my thing.
Okay. Like it's definitely fun though. I feel like if we showed you a song or two from it, maybe we could sway you. But I think that would be a
Maybe.
fun thing to
Maybe.
try and do, because it does have some bangers of songs. Like there's this character called the Grave Robber that's kind of like the narrator of the story, and he kind of just pops up at certain times, and he's super fucking hot. So like it's one of those kind of movies where it's like creepy, but weirdly a lot of the people are way more attractive than they need to be, and you kind of question yourself about it. Like,
Oh, hot people, sign me up.
right? It is very much like a Hot Topic made musical, if there ever was one, other than Queen of the Damned.
Okay.
Oh, like Queen of
I
the
don't know.
Damned.
Yeah,
I
which
like musicals.
yeah, I'm a big fan of musicals, so one that kind of fits into that spooky genre is pretty top notch for me. All right, so
Mhm.
what do you guys got? You guys got anything else you wanna go on for one of your favorite in the horror genre, or at least spooky adjacent?
One of my other favorites is still Creep Show, the original one.
All right, gonna bring that one up real
That
quick.
sounds so familiar, but I can't put my finger on it.
Why
It
don't
was
you- yeah, go ahead and give us like a descriptor on that one.
it was a movie that was supposed to be more like, you ever seen those movies that's more like multiple short stories
Mhm.
with like the multiple, short horror stories. This is what kind of that is. They did make like a second one, and they even made a straight to video third one. Second one's still good. Third one is complete crap.
Okay.
Being honest, it was a straight to video, but the first one, it's cheesy as hell. So cheesy. There's so many like good one line.
Oh yeah. That's kind of like the fun of it, and it is a Stephen King, like, anthology. So you get a lot of that kind of coming out of there.
Oh, Stephen King even plays in it.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
wow.
Yeah, it's definitely like old school, but like not as old. Like it still holds up, whereas a lot of the older ones I feel like are harder to watch now. Like some of them are kind of like too cheesy. This one I do like anthology ones, like even like the VHS movies and stuff. I like where it doesn't linger too much on just one plot, so you can kind of have a lot of different fun themes all in one package.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So is it by Stephen King?
Some of it is like it's
Yeah.
it's an anthology, so like he was like one of the writers in it.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like he wrote the whole thing, or he was just guest starring in it. I
Nah.
was confused.
I mean, he is like
Nah.
the main writer on it, if I'm not mistaken, though.
Okay.
Then I
Okay.
know like one of the stories he actually plays the main character in one of those stories.
I
He
it's,
has one of my
Oh.
favorite lines in it.
I love when like directors and writers do that. It's kind of like when you see a Tarantino film and he pops up in it.
Yeah. Did you
Oh,
see
yeah.
Del Toro's like the Cube, and he like that anthology series where he did like one short horror story, and at the beginning he would like come out to the
Mhm.
audience and be like, "Hello, everybody. My name is."
Yeah,
Del
Yeah.
Toro."
those are really good.
Yeah.
Guillermo del
I-
Toro.
I don't know if you consider this horror, but What We Do in the Shadows, the movie, is kind of it's
We can
Oh,
very.
yeah.
I'm never gonna stop us from talking about anything Taika Waititi. I mean, I look like I'm straight out of Our Flag Means Death right
his
now.
basement.
So I mean, like I'm just like when I went and I was getting my tattoo the other day, and somebody said I looked like Blackbeard from Our Flag Means Death, and I take that as a high compliment, by the way.
Bleach like one patch of your beard.
Right. Right. But no, like I do love What We Do in the Shadows, the movie, and I will say I do like the TV show just a bit
I love
more,
it.
just because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
more of it, I guess. It's
Mm.
like so much is like good stuff is in the one movie, but the show just gives me so much more, and it gives me Matt Berry, so I'm a little bit biased with that.
It's Matt
Mm.
Berry. It's Matt Berry.
Yes, we're
Both are really sorry.
oh no, go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna say both are really good, and of course Matt Berry, yeah, definitely.
And they're connected is what's funny, because like some of the characters from the movie show up in the TV show.
And the Baron, like first season, third
God.
episode.
Them partying it up with the Baron is great, but then like the Vampire Council, where they have like a bunch of the characters, but then they like bring in other vampires from other franchises. Like Wesley Snipes is there as Wesley Snipes, not as Blade, and it's just so funny to me.
I love that show so much. I was going to dress up as Nadia for Halloween, but then I'm like, that's so expensive.
That would be very fun. I feel like I could be a very good Nandor.
You could. The relentless.
The relentless. We might have to make that happen at some point if it's an easy enough one for me to throw together. I do have long hair and everything, and we've got plenty more podcasts to go this month where I will be dressed up as things.
Final season of this show is coming out, I think, like this week.
Yeah.
I'm so sad.
No, I definitely like the like bit of goofiness. Like we were even talking about earlier, like the Ash versus the Evil Dead show. Like those types of shows are so fun. Like Stan versus Evil is another really good one. Like it's just,
oh yeah, that is.
I'm such a big fan of just kind of like playing in and having fun with the horror genre beyond just trying to be scared. Sometimes it's fun to play with it, you know, like that's I feel like we could at least, you know, put it out there. Did everybody at least watch a few seasons of like American Horror Stories? Does anybody have like a favorite of that? Ooh, Drusy?
I know I definitely have not watched like every season.
Yeah, I have not either.
I think after Coven, I don't really know what
Covenant.
The other seasons.
The Coven, yeah. No, it's Coven. It's like because of which Coven?
Coven.
Yeah. Because that Coven and Freak Show were like the two that I was like, because I'm a big like circus theming fan. So like I definitely think that the show kind of lost a lot of its charm after Coven, but you know, Coven has Stevie Nicks in it too, so that gives it a lot of extra points for me.
Oh yeah, it does.
Like that, yeah. And for anybody that doesn't know, I am a ridiculous Fleetwood Mac fan, so you're gonna get a bajillion extra points from me for having Stevie in it. But not so. But yeah, I feel like. Does anybody have another one that they want to bring up before we go into the other topic for the show?
I have one that's a little bit kind of left field here.
All right.
Because it is categorized as a horror film, but I found it to be a little bit tame, but it was really fun to watch. And I'm gonna be careful in what I say here in the next 2 seconds.
Okay.
So the movie it's got quite a title here. So it's called Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Sewer Slidal Person.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah. So I can send.
He
that
meant
to you.
Renfield,
Yeah.
guys. He meant Renfield, the one with Nick Cage.
Right.
No,
Just kidding. I'm joking.
It's a cool little French film that it's about this vampire lady girl who's coming into her I believe her adulthood, but she has a little bit of a thing going on. She doesn't like to, I guess, take blood from humans. And so she just eats, medical blood packs, and it's about her and her family trying to force her to do so. And it turns into this like coming of age adventure romance kind of thing, and it's really fun. It was a really good movie.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna list. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, definitely, if you don't mind subtitles, delving into some of like the foreign horror films is such a fantastic idea anyway, just because it's gonna give you a lot of things that we don't necessarily get in a lot of our movies here. I want to bring up one that I am a very big fan of. It's weirdly in the genre, but it's on a different kind of wavelength than kind of what we've been talking about, and that is Battle Royale. And for anyone that's not seen it, that there is a dub of it if you don't want to read the subtitles, but it is imagine if Hunger Games was made for people that aren't just looking for a teen romance. Like, you have a government that is taking a random classroom and putting them on an island and giving them like 3 days, and only one person can come off of that island. Each person is given like one random thing in their backpack with some other supplies. You might be given a grenade, you might be given like a handgun, or you might be given a pot lid. Like, it is, and it's insane. Crazy. It's dark, and it really brings out, like, it's one of those like, it's like a Lord of the Flies, a reflection on our society. Like, this is what people turn into when, you know, they're put in this situation kind of movie. And it started out as a book, funny enough, that was like a bit, even seen a bit extreme for the contest that it was even originally put in. It is a very good movie. There's even been a manga made of it, because this is a Japanese like series. Do not watch the second one though, it is horrible. But have any of you guys heard of Battle Royale before me just bringing it up? Druzy, of course.
Oh yeah, I've seen it, and it is really good.
Oh yeah.
And of course it came out before Hunger Games.
Not only did it come out before Hunger Games, the book for this came out before the book for Hunger Games as well. It made me so mad when this, like, people would discover this movie and they're like, oh, they're just ripping off Hunger Games. Don't even get me started. This is so much better than Hunger Games in every measure.
I fell into that trap, and for that reason, I actually didn't watch it. So I'm thinking maybe now I need to give it a try.
Oh, it would be a fantastic one to review. I love this movie. Like, I went and had to go, because back in the day, back in my day, it used to be hard to get hold of certain media like this, because you couldn't just go and watch something like this online, you know, without having to really risk, you know, putting a good old virus on your computer back then. You know what I mean? So I was actually at a anime convention and happened across a used copy of this movie, and I was so happy to get my hands on it, because it's so good. Like, and it's worth reading the book too if you're a reader.
Yeah.
If we're recommending a little bit more of the foreign films, one of my favorite is The Wailing.
The Wailing.
Yeah, it's like kind of like it's literally a movie set in Korea about a small village. One of the kids gets sick, and it seems like either people think he's possessed or having some sort of mental issues. And then there's like this dad that's trying to pretty much save his little girl, but he's not the brightest dude in the whole entire world. He is a cop,
Right.
but he's kind of been seen as lazy. So it kind of goes through him trying to think of very things. You know, there's like all sorts of spooky things happening. There's all sorts of like paranoia, and it's just great. And if you're looking into like something that's like gonna actually frighten you, that's a good one.
Nice.
I'm on the opposite end. I don't like to be that scared because I have anxiety and stuff. So, like The Conjuring, The Exorcist, Amityville Horror, like all of those like spooky movies, not like horror films, but not like proper horror films like you guys like. I like the surface, the baby stuff.
I see.
Which can be entertaining as well.
What
So
about
much
like,
fun.
do you like stuff like
they're
Child's
fun.
Play then, where it's a bit more, you know, a bit more cheeky, or maybe like The Leprechaun?
So, the reason I didn't like horror originally was because I accidentally saw Chucky when I was younger, but now as an adult, it's one of my favorite franchises. I love Child's Play. Like, I like every single movie.
I'm going to take a guess here. And I'm going to assume that Druzy probably had a very similar upbringing to myself, to where she was being shown things like Hellraiser at way too young of an age.
Oh yeah,
I knew it.
I was.
Same. My dad was exposing me to things like Hellraiser, Jason, you know, anything like that growing up. So I am one of those people that I am not fazed by anything. My family, a lot of us work in the haunted house or haunted whatever industry. Like my
Oh,
dad,
wow.
yeah, my dad is actually getting ready for anyone that's going to be down in Orlando, Florida in the month of October. Go out to the Petrified Forest where you can see my dad doing some role. He loves doing that stuff. It's actually one of like the biggest like scare feature like things that's not in an amusement park in the South. So it's pretty cool. So I grew up obviously very ingrained in like this type of stuff. So I'm looking more a lot of the times for something I'm going to find entertaining or different because I'm not going to probably get scared.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I'm the opposite. I grew up on like in a very conservative household and they didn't do anything like that evil. So I watched like Coraline and like those kind of spooky movies, and then I got older and just went hog wild on some horror films.
There you go. Like
Yeah.
even my
Yeah.
nieces, I watched the Babadook with my nieces the other day. That one was so funny. That little kid is so annoying.
We're
It is
terrified of the Baptist.
Oh,
It is a
man.
good movie, though.
It is
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
fun. For like how low budget it is, they did a lot with a very, very small budget. And I always appreciate that.
Hmm.
Now
I
the
think-
one I would say the one I'm looking forward to this year though is that new Terrifier movie.
I don't mind low budget because it kind of forces them to be like creative outside of CGI.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And like, you know, and also big stars, because big stars kind of take it out of me. You know, like seeing like really people that I recognize every day, I'm just like, man, you know, I just saw this dude on this dumb movie or something, you know, like so I like the B horror aspect, and mainstream stuff is cool and all, but it kind of takes the horror out of me and takes me outside of it. My immersion's broken.
Hmm.
Right. So all right, so I guess we're gonna call this segment here on this. Well, we'll definitely be talking a lot more about horror movies this month. So yeah, I mean, I hope that you guys had a good chance to let that out of your system of some of the horror movies that you think that people should be watching this month. But
Yeah.
we're gonna move on to the next part of the show, and I thought that this would be fun today to go and do another tier list because I'm trying to like make sure that we have a little bit of almost like a game like feature towards the end of this. And let's go ahead and resize this thing up real quick. But I
Yeah.
figured today we could do just some of the like top horror movies, and this is mostly like more recent ones, like 2010s. Like I don't want to like
Thank you.
yeah, I don't want to have too large of a list because a lot of the ones I was looking at were like insanely big, and it's like, okay, we're not doing a whole show of that, otherwise that would be acceptable. But yeah, we're just trying to do.
Well, you're
like-
sizing that. I'll be right back.
all right, I've got it now, so be quick. But yeah, so we're gonna go over some of the like big. This is more like 2010s. I'm thinking like maybe some like more recent, closer to recent ones, but mostly we're looking at things that have been out for a while. Because I know for me, I don't see a lot of horror movies in the theaters. So if we were gonna do something recent, it would have to be like majority things that have like had to have been like on a streaming service for a while. Yeah, because I mean, I don't know, like I'll go to the movies for a horror movie, but I've got to like really be, it's got to be one that has a hook to it that's gonna make me really want to go to it for that.
Yeah.
All right, so going into today's tier list, funny enough, the very first one on here is none other than Cabin in the Woods, the one that I brought up earlier. I definitely, I don't think that it's actually S tier. I don't think that it's like God tier horror movie. I like personally, I think that it is A tier. Just because I don't think that there's a downward part of it, but the fact that it is playing more parody instead of playing something new is why I think that it goes in A instead of S.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, and I know Morbid has not seen that one. All right,
I
so
will tomorrow.
oh my! All right, we're gonna look at Texas Chainsaw. Like this is like the newer one, and personally, I am not too big of a fan. I think that the remake is nowhere near some of the earlier movies, even the cheesy ones. So
And
I don't think that it's bad. I just don't think that it's like great. So I'm gonna put it C tier. What
I
did you
like
guys
C
think of it?
because I didn't necessarily was like blown away and was like, man, I need to put that in my rewatch rotation, you know?
yeah,
Right.
nah, that's C for sure.
Yeah, and it's not a bad franchise, but it's definitely one that they played up a few times. Like there's been quite a few remakes of that franchise at this point.
Oh yeah.
All right, so this
Sure.
this next one, we're gonna have to be completely honest on this. This is the Nightmare on Elm Street remake that doesn't have Robert Englund in it. If we had something lower than than D tier, I would put it there. This movie needs to burn in the same hell that they were trying to send Freddy to. This movie sucks.
Yeah, it was no good.
Yeah,
You
no
can't-
Robert Englund,
Mm,
no Freddy.
Yeah,
nah.
especially
Robert
I don't
Englund
know.
is
There was such charm from the originals that was not replicated here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the only one I've seen so far, but it was not
No.
good.
Oh no. Like if you don't have the witty zingers of England, it's not a Nightmare on Elm Street. Like he is
Yeah.
so integral to the vibe of the movie. You know, it's not Jason where you can just take a big guy and put a mask on him. You know, this
No.
is this is
It's like changing Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool with the mask off. You
Right.
can't get
yeah, so this one needs to go to the deepest depths of hell and never get a sequel. So we're looking at The Conjuring next. What's everyone's thoughts on The Conjuring?
it's not S tier, but I think it's great.
I think it's good. I think I like A
Yeah,
on
Hey.
that one.
I'm cool with that one.
Yeah.
I think that it was at early enough in the modern day horror movies that it doesn't bother me. I think my biggest problem with it is that so many other movies afterwards tried to imitate it. That was that's my only issue with it. Not it as the
Yeah.
movie, but all of the
Mhm.
like fakers after.
Yeah. And the franchise just
Oh yeah. And that but we're
That's
we're
true.
only talking about the first one, so we'll be nice about it, you know, because that happens
lot.
with a lot of these franchises. All right, so we got
Yeah.
Insidious 2. I think that this
Oh.
one is B. It's before it went too far off the rails bad.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
Not sure if I've actually seen it, so I'm
No,
gonna
I've seen the
guess B.
first one. I haven't seen this.
see what we got for the next one then. We've got
Wait,
Insidious.
why the
Chap-
second one?
I don't know, like this. I didn't make this thing.
Oh,
Yeah. So Insidious Chapter 3. This one I think is when they kind of started to suck personally.
Okay, I think this one deserves to be in B because it did have a bit of humor in it.
Okay. I mean, I'll throw it to C.
I would be happy with C,
Yeah, I'll throw it to C.
but it did have some funny moments in there that were purposely done.
That's true.
be
What
funny.
what are your thoughts on this? Did you see this one, Drusy?
Nah, I don't. I actually haven't really watched that series. So
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
Well,
you actually found something I haven't watched.
and then we got the first one that I actually do think is A tier. Like the first one, because this is before I started to get annoyed with too many of like the little possessed kid tropes.
yeah, I loved the first one. It was a treat.
So let's see. Well, we also have Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. I didn't see this one. They've had so many spin-offs of this franchise.
I've never gotten into that series in general, to be honest.
I'm not a big on it myself.
It
What
always
about
put
you
me to
guys?
sleep.
Did any of you guys see this one at all?
Which one is this
Just-
one?
This is the marked ones from Paranormal Activity.
Nope.
I'm
I have
trying to
not
figure.
seen it.
No, I don't think I. Was it like the third one in the series? That's what I'm trying to remember.
Not sure. Well, we got Paranormal Activity 2, which I do think is before it got too stale, because they definitely drove this series into the ground after a while.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What do you guys
I would
think
say
for
B.
B tier?
Mm,
Maybe even lower, to be honest.
I'd
yeah.
go lower.
Yeah, we can put it in C. Let's see if we got some.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do with the Paranormal Activity format until it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Well,
true.
we've got Saw. I think this is Saw 3. 3 wasn't bad. I feel like everything after 3 is when it was really starting to get awful.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there.
If they would have cut it off at 3, I would have been pretty happy. I think that one deserves to be a B tier. Some of the later ones, people say some of them are okay. I don't personally think that they're worth a shit beyond after 3.
Yeah, and that's the
I
one
agree
where
with
it
you.
revealed the whole apprenticeship thing, right?
Yeah, which was the
I thought that
perfect
was pretty
ending.
good. Yeah, that should have been it. They should have been done there.
All right, so we got Sinister. I don't remember this one.
I'm gonna have to look it up so I can see it.
Right?
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, same.
Hmm.
Oh, I've seen this.
Oh yeah?
I I did it scared me,
Oh, did
but
it?
not in an impactful way that I could even remember it. So I'm going to put it like C or D tier.
All right, we'll put that right
Yeah,
in the
I'm
D tier.
Is that Mark
wondering now
Wahlberg?
if I
No,
watched
Ethan
this at
Hawke.
all.
All right, so what's your guys' thought on Annabelle?
Ooh.
Um,
Mid.
Yeah?
yeah, mid. I mean, the puppet thing.
I'm not
Let's leave
scared
that
by
to
the
Chucky,
puppet
man.
thing, and when they try and play it straight, it does nothing for me.
It just doesn't. No, Annabelle was not something that is in my radar as a rewatch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, Drusy?
Oh, sorry. Annabelle.
Yeah.
I think it's fine where it's at.
That's fair. That's totally fair. All right. Well, this is an interesting one. What about the Halloween one? Oh, like I guess this is the one where they brought Lori back. Like the good
Killed?
one. Like I liked this one.
Mhm.
I hated the ones they've made since, because this was another perfect ending. They did it so good where I think that they only counted like the first 2, and this was like a continuation off of that. I think is how they did
Whoa. Yeah.
That one
I saw this in
was-
theaters.
it. Yeah, so did I. It was so
I
good.
did too. It was actually good.
Soundtrack was great.
Oh yeah, that was something that my dad and I, when we seen it, were going on about. So I would say at least A tier. I would even put this S, because I think it's such a good cap to the series. If they had used it as the cap, but
Yeah,
they
true.
got greedy.
Yeah.
I didn't dislike the other ones. They just weren't great.
Yeah. So what else do we have here? Ooh, this will be a fun one to talk about. Y'all's thoughts on the Babadook? Because I know there's very mixed feelings on it.
I thought it was good.
I thought it was good. I would say B.
It feels very B tier. It's not one that I think that I needed to watch as many times as I have, but I had nieces that needed a movie to watch. I was like, this one doesn't have anything too bad in it, and the only bad thing in it, I was able to like fast forward through pretty quickly. So yeah, I think it's a good B tier one. It's very low budget and goofy. What's y'all's thought on Happy Death Day? I personally enjoy this series a lot.
I loved it.
I
those
don't
are
think I haven't seen it.
They're so fun. It's very comedy horror. I don't know a good way to describe it, like comparing it to something else, because it's a fun teen movie while also being like a cheeky comedy horror. Like it's very fun.
I fall into the category of watching of like the thing you'd show your girlfriend who's terrified of everything, and that is the perfect movie for it. It is so good. It's that time paradox stuff, and it's not like you're seeing a lot of slash. It's very scary though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I definitely think it's an A tier one.
Oh yeah.
So here's an interesting one. Get Out.
Second one. I
I know this one's a bit more of a controversial one because of a lot of the themes that Peele uses in his films.
Oh, I mean, I'm okay with that. I just don't exactly like his films.
No, you don't?
What?
I thought this one was interesting.
I like Nope.
You're like, nope.
Yep. I liked the change of theme of like just in the desert horses and like
Yeah, that one was an interestingly shot one. I enjoyed Get Out. I don't think that it's scary whatsoever. It's just interesting theming. Like it's definitely more about the message than the scare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still
can see
think that
that.
it's a good B movie. I don't know if like horror wise, but just as a movie standalone, it's worth a watch.
Yeah.
No, I'd agree.
All right, what about It? I feel like this is a fun one to talk about, and this is the remake, not the original Tim Curry one, which would be a fun to talk about.
Great.
Yeah,
I think it's an A tier.
Oh no, it's good.
the-
Oh,
It's
that's
good.
really
I like
good.
it. A tier, good for me.
the first
Second
one
one?
was so good. The second one didn't grab me as much, but they did go off script a bit from the book.
But Bill Hader.
Bill Hader
Hear
did
me out.
fantastic.
Bill Hader.
Is he going to be
That's a
coming back
perfect
for the
casting.
TV show?
I fucking hope so. I love Richie. The comedic timing on that character.
So, what's y'all's thought on The Purge? Like, we can just like kind of group it all as one series because we're running a little bit low
They're
on
good.
time.
They're good.
Yeah.
The entirety, I think there's some good ones,
Yeah.
some bad ones, but the overall
Hmm.
doesn't spook me. You know, it's just
Not
kind of an
spooked
action
at
thing
all.
for me.
Yeah, it is. I definitely see it more as like a fun, like almost like watching a Mad Max movie than I see it as a horror movie. Like I'm definitely,
Yeah.
it can be, but I enjoy it. But I don't think that it's I don't think that it's any type of like actual work of art in the horror genre. I just think that it's a fun franchise.
It's like C.
For you, it's
Like
C?
let's mid or below.
What's your guys' thoughts?
Probably similar because
It didn't get you as much. I mean, I do think that
Nah.
there are some low points, but there's some fun to be had, and it definitely makes me want to play video games in a similar genre.
I mean, yeah, I can see that.
Right, so did you guys see the remake to Pet Cemetery? Because I did.
I've seen it.
I don't think I did.
I enjoyed it. Wasn't it Lithgow that played the old man in that one? I'm pretty sure it was John Lithgow actually doing a horror role, weirdly enough. But it was fun. I don't think that it really improved on anything from the original though. So I think that it probably honestly could be C tier. Did you guys see the original Pet Cemetery?
I've
I
seen
think
the
C
original.
tier. I remember it vaguely.
Fair
It was
enough.
a long time ago.
For some reason, the original actually scared me as a kid, and I don't know why. Because nothing else did.
Oh, this is a fun one. What were you guys' thoughts on Split?
Ooh,
I love Split.
now you're talking right there.
Honestly, that's an S tier level in my opinion.
That's full
Really?
on creepy, man. Yeah. Have you
Like
seen it?
I was not put off
Fun.
by Split that much.
it's good storytelling is the thing. Like the way that they and the performance is just next level with the changing between the personalities. Like McAvoy did
Yeah.
just nuts work.
Yeah, I agree then. If we're going at it from that perspective, yeah.
Yeah, well, because like I
Great.
said, when it comes to like the horror genre, I'm not going to get spooked, so I'm looking for unique a lot of the times, and this was so
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Now,
Yeah, I'm the
I
same way.
liked the movie before it was like the, but I did not like Glass. I thought the Glass was very, very so.
It was bleh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
It was getting too convoluted.
Yeah.
I completely agree. All right, so we've got some more here. If you guys have any that you want to speak on before we kind of wrap things up, we've got the Scream 4. If you guys, The Nun, Glass, Happy Death Day 2, The Conjuring 2 VHS. If you guys, any of those catching you guys that you guys feel you want to throw up on there?
Is the green room in there?
Is it?
It's a I can't see anything, but
Oh,
it's
okay.
a S tier for me. If it,
Oh no, that is actually a good movie.
it's amazing. Sir Patrick Stewart.
All
No,
right.
I don't think that is the green room.
All right. So, well, on this, we kind of got a little bit of an idea of where we fall on where we enjoy some of our horror movies. So I feel like that's a good place for us to kind of end that segment.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was fun.
I think
I
that
like
we
how I
had
agreed with all of you.
we had a pretty fun day today, though. I do want to say that we do like to put out a recommendation for something that you should watch that we're going to put up a review for next week. And this week, our recommendation is actually for an anime, because next week, the first half of the show is going to be based around at least spooky themed anime of sorts. Doesn't have to necessarily be horror, but it needs to be something with kind of the vibe there. So we're going to have a fun discussion with that. And at the second half of the show, we're going to be doing a discussion of fuck, marry, kill of different horror icons. But our recommendation for the thing that you should be watching this week, since we are going into anime, is Uzumaki. And you can actually watch this over on HBO. I've already watched the first episode. I think we're going to be able to talk about the first two by the time that we get to reviewing it. It is so beautiful. It is a completely black and white. It looks hand-drawn. Like, if you've ever looked at the old Disney movies and seen how they like had an actor act something out and you can tell that they were matching the movements, it is that level of fluidity with the movements of the characters. It's definitely one of those like creepy but also a work of art type of things that I'm very much enjoying it so far. Any thoughts on this recommendation that at least some of us will probably end up on a review for this week?
Yeah, I'm going to be watching. Oh,
you're good. So you're gonna be in on this one?
Cut out.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be in on this one. I'm so excited for it. I'm not a big fan of horror anime because it usually gets a bit too much for me, just in the level of discomfort. But this one just is, and it's coming out on Adult Swim as well, which is very convenient.
Oh, very nice.
No Crunchyroll.
I mean, but it is on it. I don't think it is on Crunchyroll. I think it's HBO Max or just Max now that it's on.
Yeah,
that's what I watched.
That's why I
it
said
on.
No Crunchyroll.
Oh yeah. I mean, I do subscribe to Crunchyroll.
Me too. It's out of necessity, not want.
yeah. But I mean, like, I definitely think that this is one that even if you're not an anime fan, you should give a watch. Like, it's that kind of a thing where it's outside of its genre. Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to talking about that one. But that is our episode for this week. We're going to go around and let everybody go ahead and say whether you can find them. Of course, you can find me here on The Inner Geekdom. We're probably going to go and play a little bit of Sea of Thieves maybe after this, after we take ourselves a little bit of a break. If you do not follow me on other platforms than the one you are currently watching, make sure that you go and follow me there. There's a description that has all of our links in it. Drusy, where can people find you at?
Okay, once again, you can find me mainly on Twitch under Dead Dread Drusy.
Yeah.
And once again, also like TikTok.
And you're back on the grind. We're glad you're back from vacation now. So, now you'll get to get back into the grind of pumping out content with the rest of us. Morbid, where can people find you at?
You can find me on Twitch and every other platform, but my name is Mora Morbid, Mora Morbid.
Yeah. Yay. And we also have none other than Mr. Pingu. Where can people find you?
Yeah, people can find me on Monster Pangaboo without the E on twitch.tv.
Yeah, y'all better go and do that. All right, thanks everybody for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Make sure that you come back next Thursday, 8 p.m. EST. Same time, same place, different costume. Have yourselves a good one, though, everybody. Thank you for stopping in. Love all y'all's faces. Have a good rest of your week. Goodbye. Peace out.